welcome you back to Top of the Morning. We're so glad you could join us on this lovely morning at the World Trade Center in Baltimore. You know, Steve, we have a fascinating guest today.
Everyone loves boating on the Chesapeake, so this is going to be a fascinating show.
Yes, with the weather turning soon, and we have beautiful weather. Everybody is excited about getting out there.
Spring is coming, and those that have boats need to get them ready. But first, let's take a quick break. We'll be back in just a moment. Don't touch that dial.
See you in a minute. Rowsom from Historical Ships. Welcome.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here.
Chris, when we say historical ships of Baltimore, what are we talking about?
Well, we have the whole fleet of vessels. We have, of course, USS Constellation has been here in Baltimore since 1955. The submarine Torsk has been here in Baltimore since the early 1970s. Coast Guard cutter Taney has been here in Baltimore since 1986. Lightship Chesapeake has been here for many years and of course marked the entrance to the Chesapeake Bay when she was in service. And the 7-foot Knoll Lighthouse, not a ship but just as important, she's located on the end of Pier 5 and marked the entrance to the Patapsco River since 1856.
Now, is that still a working lighthouse?
No, she's not a working lighthouse. It's part of our collection, part of our museum, and an exhibit open to the public. Actually, the lighthouse is open for free anytime anybody wants to visit.
Isn't that interesting? Will we share with our viewers some of the interesting tours that they can take on the ships, please?
Sure. On board USS Constellation, we have a number of tours, some of which are available to the general public when you come on board. We have activities that take place every single day. Including live cannon firings with the ship's 20-pounder Parrot rifle, which is awfully fun, and our Powder Monkey tour for kids.
What's a powder monkey?
Powder monkeys were the young kids who sailed on board Constellation when back during the Civil War. They'd be ages 11 to 18, and they were their technical rank was ship's boy, but they were nicknamed Powder Monkeys because they were the ones that actually brought the powder charge to the gun crews when the ship was in action.
So that's what children did before electronics came.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Chris, did I see something just recently, though? Is the U.S. Constitution there at the dock right now, or is it in dry dock?
Constellation and the submarine are both in dry dock, and for those who don't know what that means, basically every now and again we need to get our ships out of the water in order to do repair work and just regular maintenance. And so Constellation and the submarine Torsk are at the Sparrows Point shipyard. They're in the dry dock there. It's actually, the technical term is a graving dock. It's like this big inlet cut into the side of the river with a gate on the outside. And when they take the gate, they flood the inlet. They take the gate off. We drive the ships in. They put the gate back on, and they pump the water out. And so we've been there now for about 6 weeks and hopefully only going to be there for about another week. And we're looking to return to the Inner Harbor sometime the week of, well, it might even be St. Patrick's Day. We'll see.
Oh, wonderful. I've had the good fortune of taking a tour, and I encourage our viewers to do the same. I really think, I hope you would agree with this, that any age guest would truly enjoy themselves.
Yes, anybody who's interested in history or ships, or a lot of our younger visitors take a look to see Constellation and they think it's a pirate ship, but we try and steer them the right way when they come on board, and they learn about what life was like for the sailors, for their peers, if it's younger kids, or for older kids, for their peers as well. And what life was like on board during the 19th century, sailing on board Constellation, during the mid-20th century, sailing on board a submarine or on the Coast Guard cutter. It's all learning about what life was like at sea. And I think really the most important thing is gaining an appreciation for our lives now,
Yes.
especially compared to the lives of the sailors on board Constellation.
Well, I was
Just
so-
a very, very big difference.
I was so surprised, this very small area you have to sleep in.
Mhm.
And it truly made me and my children appreciate what we have outside, but it also gave them an idea of what it would be like if they were to serve perhaps in the military or to have an extended stay on a vessel.
And the opportunity is there for extended stays as well, because we do overnight programs for
Oh, please
school
tell us more
groups and
about that.
scout groups, and we have programs on board Constellation and on board the submarine and on board the Coast Guard cutter for overnight stays, and they're available for scout groups and youth groups, and it's more of, instead of just coming on board for an hour or so, it's a very immersive experience where, for example, when you come on board Constellation, you would have an evening meal just like they would have had back in the 19th century, some
That's
sort of
so
beef stew, something like that.
Oh, that's terrific.
And hardtack, of course, hardtack being the ship's biscuit. And then they do a whole series of educational activities during the evening, and then the next morning after breakfast, again a traditional breakfast, and it's a very immersive and educational experience, and lots of fun.
What a fabulous.
Those meals sound fascinating, but Chris, I didn't hear you mention anything about grog. Is there any grog available?
Well, no, not when we've got kids on board, but I should say that our ships are also available for rent if somebody wants to have a private party or something like that on board, in which case they are more than welcome to serve grog.
All right, well someone in our audience may want to.
Yeah, that's basically a way we help to keep the ships afloat, and the ships can only stay afloat through people coming aboard or people making donations, contributions. This latest dry docking that we're doing is very, very expensive, and so we really look to people and corporations and foundations for support. So any support that we can get is greatly
Can you
appreciated.
share with our viewers how they can support?
Sure. Well, the easiest way is to visit our website, which is historicships.org, and there are listed on our website are different ways to donate and to make contributions. One of the easiest ways is to become a member of the museum, and then you get our quarterly newsletter and can come aboard for free anytime you like on any of the vessels.
Chris,
Yes.
you did mention tours and you mentioned funding. Tell us about your new visitor center.
Well, that's still on the drawing board right now, but our plans are to build a new state-of-the-art education and heritage center on Pier 1, and it will serve really as a gateway not only to USS Constellation with exhibits there on her history, and enable us to display things that we have in our collection that we're really not able to display on board the ship, but it'll also act as a gateway to the whole seaport here and to the whole historic ship's collection. Really a one-stop for people to learn and get oriented to the inner harbor, and so we're really looking forward to that. It's still probably a couple of years down the road, but we're looking forward to that.
Okay. Chris, that's fascinating, but we've got to take a short break. We'll be right back. Please stay with us. of the morning. We're back here again. Sherry, what do we want to ask Chris in his closing statements here?
Well, I'll tell you, we were talking about the dry docking earlier, and one of the things that we found, with Torsk we had some surprises, but most of them were little surprises. With Constellation we had a big surprise, and she actually needs to go into dry dock again in the next couple of years. So we actually have to replace a lot of her topside planking, so we're going to be doing that in a couple of years. And again, I might sound like a broken record looking for support, but we're still looking for support for that as well. So we have a lot of projects going on, all very worthwhile and all adding to the educational experiences here in the Inner Harbor for the thousands and thousands of people who visit. So
Chris, that's great. Sherry, I'm sure you and I could ask Chris questions for
Oh, we
another
can.
couple of hours.
I think it's fascinating. I didn't even realize all the different opportunities people have. And think
It's
of
just so much.
Right. There is, and I'm hoping that our viewers will share this with other people they know and take advantage of this wonderful opportunity here in Baltimore to really have a piece of history.
hope
and an
everybody
enjoyable
comes on
day.
board.
I want to make one more plug for volunteering. I had a great time. It was a wonderful experience. That's Top of the Morning. I'm Steve Izant.
And I'm Shari Chase. Please come back again on another morning. Have a wonderful day. Thank you, Chris.
You're welcome. Good to see you.